Drops out, incomplete. So they're still at the original line of scrimmage here. 2nd down and 10.
Whenever I see a drop like that, I have to kind of take a step back and check myself a little bit. So used to seeing those big guys make big-time spectacular plays that when they drop one, I have to remind myself, we ask a lot out of these guys. Block and catch the football, not easily done in today's NFL.
Throwing Rivers. He's going to air it out deep for Matthews. Got a man, it's caught inside the 10. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Jordan Matthews, 54 yards. It's up and good. This becomes a 21-14 ball game now. Now Bullock will send this one away after the touchdown. Set to return. This is Brandon Cooks. Shreds the tackle. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line. So the Lions offense ready to go back out onto the field. And they will simply, Charles, be looking to duplicate what they did last drive when they were able to push it in for 6.
And they hope it'll be that easy, right? To be able to take exactly what happened before, replicate it. They may have to make a few additional changes along the way because I'm sure the defense will make some adjustments, but they've got to have great confidence having scored the last time out.
And he will lose yardage on the play, back at his own 19-yard line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down. Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this. And the offense behind the chains here, a touch on 2nd and 11. They keep it on the ground. This time it's Henry. 2 yards gets them back to where they started, but now 3rd and 10.
And that's why you see a lot of teams that like to play 4-3 defense, especially against teams that run the ball really well, because you count on your defensive front, the tackles and the ends, to eat up the blocking in the offensive line and keep that guy in the middle clean so he can roam through the football and make a tackle. In this case, he introduced himself and said, "Hello, my name is Mike."
Alshon Jeffrey, the intended receiver. And now it's 4th down. Here's Johnny Hecker now. On for his 2nd punt. He'd take a repeat of his 1st. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. With it is Jackson. A very good return that time. 18 yards. And the Steelers will go on offense here, 1st and 10. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. They're down here in a 1-score game. But the time, it's a factor, but it's not a huge factor right now, is it?
It's really not, because this amount of time gives them a chance to run their offense, to go through play sequences. And this is what they work on every week in practice, usually on a Friday. They go over this type of a situation, late game situation. What are we going to do when we have the opportunity? They've called these plays a bunch of times. Now's their chance to execute them.
Well, they have the opportunity now. Here's the execution. He'll look to throw. And Reed with it over the middle. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. They come up with one running back. That's Bell. Back to throw. A hit as he throws there, incomplete. Jordan Reed was the intended target, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
Well, any caused incompletion is good for a defense, but when you add to it that you get a little hit on the quarterback, knock him to the ground, make him think a little bit, hopefully knock him off his game, especially in a game of this magnitude, this tight in the 4th quarter. Got to feel pretty good as a defense.
6 yards on the pickup, and it'll be 3rd down. Looking to speed things up here, going with some tempo. Back to throw. Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. And he will have 1st down yardage as he's brought down at the 41.
Would it be safe to say that as precise as routes are supposed to be run in the NFL, maybe they're not quite as precise in college ball?
That's accurate, yeah.
And I think we saw a college route in the NFL there. Just find the soft spot, find the dead zone, and find the first down. And that's what he just did.
Give him 11 on the gain there, and it's good enough for a Pittsburgh first down. That's what they need right now. Get the first down, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Just playing smart football, understanding the situation, making the plays necessary, and making sure that clock stops at every opportunity.
And the wideout in motion. He's back to throw. And it's incomplete. Boy, he doesn't drop many like that one. Second down. Offense walks to the line for play number 7 of the drive. They'll look to throw. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. And he is across and in for the score. And now they can tie the game in the final stages with the extra point.
Or they can go for 2 and go for the win. And while it appears the heavy lifting was accomplished by scoring the touchdown, they're still down 1. That extra point is not a gimme.
Set to go now with the kickoff. These two teams all even again as we continue in this wild fourth quarter. This will be taken in at the 1. Muscles him off. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now. They have a little bit of time here to get into field goal range. Not much. A tie game, you don't want to do anything crazy, right?
I agree with you on that one. Risk-reward, okay? If you go for it, what is the absolute reward on this? But the risk is probably greater. Run the clock out, get to overtime, and try and win it there.
All right, we'll see if they do just that. Now Rodgers. Trying to lay one up deep. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by the great one, Darrelle Revis. And the return stops just a few yards shy of midfield. They'll spot the ball at the 47-yard line. The Steelers offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. Tie game, probably time for one final play here. What do you do in this spot?
Now you're thinking about Hail Mary. You've got to find a way to heave it all the way towards the end zone and give yourself a chance. Your time management sheet tells you with this amount left on the clock, you don't get cute and try and get 2 plays, because if you try...
And this is going to be intercepted. Darius Slay with a pick. And what an effort on the final play of regulation. All zeros on the clock, and we are headed to OT. Nothing between these two teams for 4 quarters. Here we go to begin overtime. This will be taken in at the 1. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now. They're set for their first drive here in overtime. And this is where the crowd can really become a factor.
They've had to battle it all day, but I know what you're saying. In overtime, that gets doubled, doesn't it? At least, because now the crowd really wants to be involved and help their team, and that first drive can dictate the whole thing, because they know if this team takes it downfield and scores a touchdown, it's game over.
It's been loud in here so far. A gain of 39 that time.
Not a lot of dance steps in that run. That's much more like being that bowling ball, just going down and scattering some pins, breaking through contact, breaking through tackles, and he knows how to finish a run.
Back to the ground, this time with Gurley. And he's going to get this one down to the 30. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held him to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
First throw of overtime for Rodgers. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
When defenses get to the quarterback that quickly, a lot of times it's called a jailbreak. It wasn't quite that fast, but fast enough that he had no time to look downfield and set himself to throw the ball. And as he tried to do that, he was hit, and it forced an incompletion.
Throwing is Rodgers on third down. Screen pass to Charles. And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line. So a big move here, playing to win in overtime. They're going to go for it on fourth down. Now Rodgers firing quickly here, and that's complete. That one good for 12 yards. And they're able to pick up the conversion here on fourth down. They could have tried for the field goal to take the lead, but scratch that.
Yeah, they decided to go ahead and try and win it right now, and now we understand a little bit more about the mindset of different teams in regards to the rules of overtime since they changed. A touchdown, you win it right then and there. You kick the field goal, they have a chance to retaliate. They didn't want that, obviously.
Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it second down.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
Here's Charles. 3 yards is half of what they needed. Now can they get the other 3 here on third down?
Boy, where would these guys be without his performance on the ground? That puts him over 100 yards now for the afternoon, and I tell you, he seems to be getting stronger as the day goes along.
7th play of the drive now as they come up on a 3rd and 3. 10th carry now for Derrick Henry. And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 9. They lost 2, and it brings up 4th.
I don't know about you, partner, but I'm rubbing my eyes after that play. Did we just see that runner not get yardage? A big-time play by the defense. It does happen occasionally, even against the best running backs who are having big days.
And Sturgis able to knock it through, and that will break our tie and give them a 3-point lead. All right, so they're able to put 3 on the board here on the opening drive of OT, and now it'll be up to their defense to try and see this one out.
So remember now, a field goal on this next drive would get us to sudden death. Any kind of turnover or turnover on downs would end the game, as would any touchdown. So this one's still very much up in the air.
Deshaun Jackson off to the races. 20, 10. There are no flags. He's into the end zone.
Touchdown.
And an amazing return wins it in OT. Hard-fought game through 4 quarters gets us into overtime, and then you can't even catch your breath and realize you're in overtime, and the return of the ball game's over.
Absolutely amazing what we got to see, because we're setting up all those different scenarios as we go to overtime. Do you take the ball, right? What do you do with the coin toss? Where are you going to play? How are you going to do it? And that takes it all out of our hands, doesn't it? A bolt of a return that ends the ball game.
How often do coaches talk, Charles, about that 3rd phase? And here the 3rd phase was the difference.
No doubt. And what I also think about is when you get to overtime, fatigue has to play a factor in it. And if you use a lot of guys who are frontline players on special teams, sometimes they run out of gas.
And for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports.